Not from here. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You know, we hear all these crazy stories about celebrities, right? Their lavish parties, their secret romances, their ghost encounters. Well, some places are so haunted, even the bravest celebrities steer clear. I'm talking about locations with reputations so chilling, so downright spooky, that you won't find them on any A-lister's travel itinerary. These aren't just your average creaky old houses. These are places with seriously dark histories. Places that have earned their spooky credentials over decades, sometimes even centuries. We've all seen those ghost hunting shows where celebs get a little spooked in a dimly lit room. Fun, right? But the places we're talking about today, they're on a whole other level. These are the major leagues of haunted hotspots. We're talking about locations so infamous for their paranormal activity that even stars who have faced down supervillains on screen wouldn't dare spend a night there. They have chilling reputations that precede them, whispered about in Hollywood circles as the real deal when it comes to things that go bump in the night. Forget the movie sets, these are real-life horror scenes. So get ready, grab your popcorn, and maybe a security blanket. Because we're about to take a tour of the 5 most haunted places on Earth that celebrities absolutely refuse to visit. We're going to dive into the creepy tales, the ghostly sightings, and the terrifying histories that make these spots the ultimate no-go zones for the rich and famous. From haunted hotels to entire islands, this is a list that will give you goosebumps. Let's get into it. All right, first up, we're heading to downtown Los Angeles, the heart of Hollywood. You'd think a hotel right there would be crawling with stars, right? Wrong, not the Cecil Hotel. This place, wow, it has a history that reads like the script for the darkest horror movie you can imagine. We're talking multiple suicides, unsolved murders, and it was even a temporary home for some of America's most notorious serial killers, like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. He lived there. Can you imagine checking in and finding out the guy in the next room is, well, him? It's just unbelievable. So yeah, you can see why celebrities might choose to stay at the Four Seasons instead. It's got a real energy to it, and not the good kind. The stories from the Cecil are just relentless. Guests have reported seeing shadowy figures in the hallways, hearing unexplained whispers in their rooms, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread the moment they step inside. There's even a famous, deeply unsettling elevator video of a missing guest, Elisa Lamb, that went viral and added another layer of mystery and tragedy to the hotel's legacy. It's the kind of place where every creak in the floorboards makes you jump, where you're afraid to look in the mirror for too long. It's no surprise that despite its prime location, you won't hear about any movie stars booking the penthouse suite here. They know the stories. Honestly, the Cecil Hotel has become more famous for its ghosts than its guests. It was even the inspiration for a season of American Horror Story, which tells you everything you need to know about its reputation. When a place is so creepy that Ryan Murphy decides to dedicate an entire season to its vibe, you know it's legit. So while LA is full of stars, the Cecil Hotel remains a black hole on the celebrity map, a place where the only famous residents are the spirits who are rumored to have never checked out. It's a permanent do not disturb sign for anyone in Hollywood. Next, we're not going far. Just down the coast to Long Beach, California, where a massive, beautiful ocean liner is permanently docked. I'm talking about the Queen Mary. It looks majestic, right? A throwback to the golden age of travel. But this ship has more ghost stories than it has lifeboats. Seriously. During its time sailing the Atlantic, it served as a luxury liner and a troop ship during World War II, earning the nickname the Grey Ghost. And let me tell you, that name stuck for more reasons than one. It's seen elegance, it's seen tragedy, and some of those experiences seem to be imprinted on the ship itself. People who are brave enough to explore the ship have reported all sorts of paranormal phenomena. There's the ghost of a young sailor who was supposedly crushed to death in the engine room, and people still hear his screams. Then there are the spirits of children who drowned in the ship's pool, and their ghostly laughter and wet footprints are often reported. Can you imagine? You're walking along a dry deck and suddenly see little wet footprints appearing out of nowhere? I'd be out of there so fast. There's also a lady in white who haunts the Queen's Salon. It's a paranormal party on this boat. Because of its reputation, it's become a huge tourist attraction for ghost hunters, but a major red flag for celebrities. I've heard stories that multiple paranormal investigation shows have tried to get big-name stars to join them for a night on the Queen Mary, and they get turned down flat. They're like, I'll face an alien invasion on a green screen, but a real ghost ship? No, thank you. The energy is said to be so intense that even the most skeptical visitors leave with a story to tell. So, while you might see tourists lining up for a ghost tour, you won't see any celebrities walking that gangplank unless it's for a movie where they can yell, "Cut!" Okay, for our next stop, we're leaving the coast and heading to the beautiful mountains of Estes Park, Colorado, to a place that looks charming and picturesque, the Stanley Hotel. But don't let the gorgeous views fool you. This hotel is the reason we have one of the most terrifying movies of all time. That's right, the legendary author Stephen King stayed here one night, had a terrifying nightmare, and was inspired to write The Shining. If a place is scary enough to give the master of horror himself nightmares, you know it's the real deal. That's like a 5-star rating on a horror scale. The hotel was built by Freeland Oscar Stanley, the inventor of the Stanley steamer car, and it seems he and his wife Flora never really left. Guests and staff frequently report hearing Flora playing the piano in the music room when no one is there. They see F.O. Stanley himself photobombing pictures in the billiard room, but the most active room is, of course, room 217. That's the room Stephen King stayed in. People who stay there report their luggage being unpacked for them, lights turning on and off, and feeling an unseen presence in the room. It's so active that even the biggest horror fans sometimes can't last the whole night. Naturally, with its connection to The Shining, you'd think some brave celebrities would want to check it out. Jim Carrey actually stayed there while filming Dumb and Dumber, and reportedly checked out of room 217 after only a few hours, refusing to talk about what happened. If it can scare Jim Carrey, that's saying something. Most celebrities hear the stories, they know the history, and they decide to admire the hotel from a very, very safe distance. They'll take a picture for Instagram out front, but spend the night? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and no celebrity wants to find out what that really means. Alright, we're hopping on a plane and flying all the way to Italy for this next one. Near Venice, there's a small, unassuming island called Poveglia. This isn't just a haunted building, it's an entire haunted island. And its history is the stuff of nightmares. I mean, truly awful. Back during the Roman Empire, it was used to isolate plague victims, and then again during the Black Death. We're talking about tens of thousands of people being sent there to die. It's said that the soil of the island is literally 50% human ash. I just got a chill saying that. It's just saturated with tragedy, but it gets worse. Oh, it gets so much worse. In the 1920s, a mental hospital was built on the island. The head doctor was rumored to be a real monster, performing horrific experiments and lobotomies on his patients. The legend goes that he was driven mad by the ghosts of the plague victims and eventually threw himself from the hospital's bell tower. Locals say you can still hear the bell tolling across the water, even though it was removed decades ago. Today, the island is completely abandoned and strictly off-limits to visitors. The Italian government won't let anyone go there, which only adds to its terrifying mystique. You can imagine why this is a place no celebrity, or really anyone, is rushing to visit. There are no luxury resorts here, no paparazzi. Just decaying buildings and the ghosts of unimaginable suffering. Ghost hunters who have managed to sneak onto the island have reported being physically attacked, hearing blood-curdling screams, and being overcome by a feeling of pure evil. It's considered by many to be the most haunted place on the entire planet. So if you ever see a celebrity's yacht sailing around the Venetian lagoon, you can bet they are giving Poveglia Island a very, very wide berth. For our final stop, we're off to London, England, to one of the most famous landmarks in the world, the Tower of London. It's been a royal palace, a prison, an armory, and the site of countless executions. With over 900 years of history, you just know these walls have seen some things. And a lot of those things were, let's say, not pleasant. We're talking about beheadings, torture, and long, lonely imprisonments. It's a historian's dream and a paranormal investigator's paradise. The sheer weight of history here is overwhelming, and some of its most famous residents are said to have never left. The most famous ghost is probably Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII. She was beheaded on the Tower Green in 1536, and her headless apparition is often seen walking near the site of her execution, sometimes carrying her own head. Can you imagine being a guard on the late shift and seeing that? I'd turn in my big fuzzy hat and quit on the spot. Then there are the two little princes, Edward V and his younger brother Richard, who were imprisoned in the tower and vanished in 1483, presumed murdered. Their sad little ghosts are said to be seen holding hands in the Bloody Tower, their whispers echoing in the halls. With such prominent and tragic royal ghosts, the Tower of London has a reputation that keeps a lot of people away after dark, including celebrities. While many stars will take the official tour during the day, you don't hear about any of them volunteering for a private overnight stay. The atmosphere is said to change completely when the sun goes down and the crowds leave. It's one thing to learn about the history, but it's another thing entirely to potentially come face to face with it. It's a place of immense power and immense sorrow, a combination that makes for one of the most actively haunted and celebrity-avoided places in the world. And there you have it. 5 of the most terrifyingly haunted places on the planet. Places so steeped in tragedy and paranormal activity that even the most adventurous celebrities say, no thanks. From the dark and deadly corridors of the Cecil Hotel to the royal ghosts of the Tower of London, these locations have earned their fearsome reputations. It's fascinating and a little terrifying to think that there are places in this world where the past is so present, where the stories are so powerful they can scare off just about anyone, no matter how famous they are. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? We see these actors in horror movies, fighting off zombies and ghosts on screen, but when faced with the real deal, the possibility of a genuine paranormal encounter, they're just as spooked as the rest of us. It's a reminder that some things are universally scary, and a creepy, ghost-infested building is definitely one of them. These places aren't just sets, they are living, breathing monuments to their own dark histories, and their stories continue to send shivers down our spines today. So what do you think? Are these places truly haunted, or is it all just history and hype? And the big question is, would you be brave enough to spend a night in any of them? Would you try to check into room 217 at the Stanley, or take a late-night stroll on the deck of the Queen Mary? Would you dare visit any of these haunted hotspots? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more spooky content. Thanks for watching and try to sleep well tonight.